something creative.
Yeah, sorry,
Sign,
animal.
What's your power
like,
animal?
I don't know,
Yes.
something interesting. So, I mean,
What planet are you really from?
where you
There you
from,
go.
right?
That's what I really want to know.
That's what we all want to know, right? Yeah.
And how many of them?
Right? Serious narcissist, though. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, thank you guys for coming to this space, and there's definitely a lot of room to collaborate and co-create. And I've definitely throughout the years, especially working at Air One, and all these different places, meeting different people from all different cultures and backgrounds, and it's amazing meeting. And I've just been accumulating like Pokemon. I gotta catch them all. Like, let's make a difference in the world, right? Now I'm excited to finally revamp this space as a spirit social gathering. And for a while I've just been doing my own thing. You do Airbnb at the house here, you've been busy.
Okay. I guess, should we go ahead and go around? Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, my name is Mingjie. I am a journal artist, and it is a life path that I discovered through God and the Holy Trinity. And journal artism is fusing journalism, and the personal journey in this genre where you're able to do the shadow work by having an eye of a journalist, the heart of a journaler, and the life path of a hero's journey. And in 2013, I also had a near-death experience. I was also brokenhearted. I also resented and hated God for designing us to love only to lose and suffer the pain of loss. And I thought it was one big sick joke, that he was some kind of mad scientist and we were his guinea pigs. And so there was a spiritual tug of war for my soul. And I just remember praying to Jesus prior to the onset of the tug of war, and Jesus told me to call 3 friends, and I did. And the third friend, I wasn't even hearing my friend on the other line. I was hearing my own voice that sounded like me, but I knew it wasn't me. And it told me to leave because we're in this matrix. It's all a virtual reality anyway. What's the point? And so when I was about to do it in my finality, there was a knock on the door. The police came. Turned out 2 of my friends had called separately. They didn't know each other. And so during the time that I was getting gurneyed out into the ambulance, I had a revelation from God that the purpose of us being here is to master the walk of love. He showed me images of people rioting, people hurting each other, civilizations being built and crushed. So skin color being morphed in different shapes and colors in lineages. So it just seemed like one big joke, like what is the point? And then it hit me. It's like we all came from the same source, and we were all given some kind of avatar here to an identity, something that someone had said, and then someone else said, and after a while all these saids pile up, and then we form whatever we form, and then we go about the world. And God showed me that the purpose of living is to master love. So from 2013 all the way to where I'm at now, I was searching for the meaning of love. And in that experience, I found it in 1 Corinthians 13. It was Paul's letter to the city of Corinth, but specifically to his own Christians on what love actually is. So he was criticizing his own people. And it says that if I have the tongue of men and of angels, but do not have love, I am but a clanging cymbal or a clashing gong. If I have the power of all knowledge, that I could fathom all mysteries, and if I have the gift of prophecy, but do not have love, I have nothing. If I give all my riches to the poor so that I may boast, I have nothing. What is love? Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not self-seeking. It is not proud. It is not easily angered. It does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things. It believes all things. It hopes all things. It endures all things. And among the three gifts, the fruits of life, hope, faith, and love, the greatest of these three gifts is love. So with that, I realized that we have two books to master, the book of knowledge and the book of life. And in the book of life, the answer is love. That's the whole point. And if we go into the archetypes, the myths of Adam and Eve, we find that Eve was the first to bite the apple. And in that biting, she was awakened, having knowledge, being as God, knowing good and evil. And so she got the power of judgment. That's the first gift that she was given through the apple. And the first judgment she made was on herself. She judged her nakedness to be bad, when the original intention of her nakedness is good. And so I started observing the feminine, masculine play in different parts of the world. And what I noticed is that the feminine energy actually has more power than the masculine energy, because we have the original apple, the original eye of Horus. And so it's up to us in the age of Aquarius to discipline ourselves in the mastery of love. And that comes from self-love. That is our purpose, feminine, divine, is to master self-love. And that is where I'm at right now in my journey.
Do you love
Oh my
yourself?
god, that was so fucking amazing.
Do you love yourself?
Yes,
Have you mastered it?
I'm mastering it.
Okay, I'm going to ask you the question again. Do you love yourself?
Yes,
Have you mastered it?
I'm mastering it.
We're all mastering it. Oh, yes.
Oh.
Thank you.
What's stopping you?
Nothing.
Then what have you left to master?
What do I have left to master?
That's right. Either you love yourself or you don't love yourself.
I love myself.
Then have you mastered it? I'm getting messages for you. Okay?
I got it.
Have you mastered it?
I'm mastering it.
If you...
But have any of us mastered it? I mean,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yes.
that's what
Yes.
you're saying.
Absolutely. Either you
Yes.
love yourself or you don't love yourself. It is not about, well, I kind of love myself. Now I love myself, but I don't love this about myself, or I'm not that. Either you love yourself or you don't love yourself. What's not lovable about you?
But don't mean
Wait.
But I just want to say sometimes don't
Yeah.
you get thoughts like, oh shit, like oh my god, like I should have done that, and then you get mad at yourself. But then you're like, well, I still love myself.
That's judging a behavior.
So that's different. Right?
When a child does something wrong and you hear parents say, bad, that was really bad, they are judging the child, and that's wrong. If they said to the
Absolutely.
child, you know, that what you did is not okay, but I love you. You are more important that way, and you deal with behavior. you are then judging the behavior and not the child, the being. So I'm going to ask you again, do you love yourself?
This matrix works on binaries, ones and zeros, alls
Let go
or
of that.
nothings.
Let go of that.
It is what it is.
Let go of that.
What I will say is we're in constant frequency between ones and zeros, like binary hacks in the matrix. That everything coded
I'm talking to your heart.
is ones
I'm talking to your
and
heart.
zeros.
I'm talking to your heart.
And what I will say is that we're in constant flux between ones and zeros. So on the one hand, love is present. On the other hand, love is absent. And it's this constant war within that I and many, 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 and in fact all, are in that frequency. We're all in the frequency because the frequency is.
I was glad you let it happen. You were glad you had a weakness. I quit focusing on the handicap and began to appreciate the gift. It was a case of Christ's strength moving in on my weakness. Now I take limitations in stride and would cheer at these limitations that cut me down to size, abuse, accidents, opposition, bad breaks. I just let Christ take over, so the weaker I get, the stronger I become. Wow. All right, so we're going to take these two passages and we're going to do work tonight. Keep that goalpost in mind, though. If you... Generosity Water. They're a sponsor. Keep that goalpost in mind. Now, if you have never been stressed out in your relationship with God, if you have never felt like it's all effort and no reward, if you have never felt dissatisfied in your connections with God, you just haven't been in a relationship with Him long enough. I'm not talking negative, I'm just telling you the truth. We live in a broken planet, a broken space and state, and Mama said there's going to be days like that. You're going to have days where it's just like, I don't feel saved, I don't feel forgiven, I feel mean and angry and ugly and exasperated and exhausted. If you ever felt that way, or you ever think you might feel that way, I want you to keep this message in your back pocket for safekeeping. Because I believe tonight I'm trying to show you in this passage the two biggest obstacles we've got to address that keep us from fully embracing Jesus. Does God help those who help themselves? Jesus, thank you for the moments that we share. Help us to hear your word, put it into practice. God, thank you so much. God help those who help themselves. He does. But it's a whole lot harder for that person. It's a whole lot harder for that person. We just got done a few minutes ago reading about a man by the name of Paul, who, before he has a name change and a nature change and a life change and a worldview change, he is Saul, and he told us his accomplishments, his strengths, his spiritual statistics, and frankly, they can beat anybody. He's like the LeBron of the Torah. He's like, I will be referencing LeBron for as long as he is in Los Angeles, just to be clear. Just to be clear. So, we're talking about a man who knows the Torah. He is elite. He is exactly what a Jewish young man and man would ever want to be. And notice his dramatic language. He tells us twice, I put it in the trash. I put it in the trash. He goes as far to use a crass term, which we translate dog dung, but could be translated strong. He says it's waste. It stinks. It reeks. I don't want it. I'm over it. I'm done. It doesn't define me. It's not what I'm about. It's not who I am. And he says, the reason I do this is so that I can embrace Jesus as he embraces me. So that I can embrace Jesus as he embraces me. At the conclusion of this message, we will find ourselves in my favorite parable that Jesus ever told. Maybe you've heard of it, the prodigal son. It is at the climactic conclusion of this story, what you find interesting, that the father in the third and final part of this one parable, who is no doubt a picture for us of God, runs at his wayward son, and when he reaches him, he clearly and passionately embraces his boy, and then starts kissing him. In case you wondered what God is like, he's a hugger. He's a kisser. He's a lover. He loves all people. But in the story, and I'm already taking my conclusion and using it at the beginning of the message. This will be a problem later. But for now, it's great. You'll notice in Luke 15, while the father is hugging his wayward son, his son is attempting to give an apology speech. You will also notice that the father never, ever, ever acknowledges the speech whatsoever and completely ignores it. Now that tells us something about our God. That speech was steeped in accomplishment or lack of accomplishment or earned or deserved. In fact, the operative word in the prepared speech of the wayward son is worthy. I'm no longer worthy. I'm no longer worthy. And I'm telling you, there's a reason God says in the story, I ignored the speech. Because when it comes to your relationship with God because of Jesus, listen to me, it has nothing to do with your strengths or your weaknesses. Your relationship with God, your standing with God, your right relationship, hear me again, has nothing to do with your accomplishments, your strengths, or your failures, or your weaknesses. For the relationship that we are granted with God comes through Jesus Christ, and he did for us what we cannot do for ourselves. Here's the problem. When we receive the embrace of grace, because it is illogical, and it is mysterious, and it is hard to resolve. It's not a math problem. It's not perfect science. It's a love from another realm, from the perfect, most brilliant being of all time. While he's hugging us, we want to explain to him either what we've done for him or why he shouldn't hug us because we've done nothing for him. And I want you to know that you will find it frustrating in the years to come because God will reward you. It won't do anything about it. And it gets frustrating. Our biggest, in my opinion, I'm going to say this in my opinion, the two greatest obstacles that we will face in fully embracing Jesus and enjoying friendship and relationship with God on the levels we have yet to experience will be two things: our strengths and our weaknesses. Because that's where things get frustrating. When all of a sudden I'm here to help, and God's like, I didn't need help, bro. Like some of us think the Bible starts like this: in the beginning, God needed help. Some of us live with Jesus like he said, help me, instead of follow me. And we run around like Jesus' little helpers. Talking about what I do for the kingdom. And what I do for the Lord. Really only I can do. That's why God chose me. So I'm all up in here helping God. That is an erroneous view because your other arm is holding on to strengths that frankly you are proud of. And the way you relate to your strengths continues to frustrate the relationship you have been gifted with God. Because instead of following him, we don't help him. And that's what, if you're not familiar with this, that's what Christians now are saying. I led that brother to the Lord. I'm sorry, you did what? I led him to the Lord that day. No, you led him to the Lord. We got lost with ways today from LAX. That's on Wesley, by the way. Right? We got lost with ways, ladies and gentlemen. I can no more lead somebody to the creator of the universe than I can get from LAX to the Sabah Theater. What are you talking about? I led that man to the Lord. Look at you, Jesus' little helpers. That, and I'm not trying to insult you, I'm just saying, that's what's frustrating. Your relationship with God. Paul is saying, I work on my strengths, I appreciate my strengths, but I treat them like gifts, not tools I've earned.
We really help focus it is like when you have an article, at the top of the article you have like an abstract, right? And then you have the introduction. Right now I think we're starting with the introduction. So I think maybe something that just says this is a document for this purpose to aid in this, and this. Obviously the program is an iterative process, blah blah blah. We'd really like to make it your own, and then just sort of jump into it. That makes any sense.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. For the Act 1 Discover Your Narrative program?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
An opening paragraph just to describe use, like how people should use it.
Yes.
I feel like it really orients, like just way up top that you say, oh, this is what this is for. And from my understanding, it's for sort of volunteer groups / volunteer group leaders to sort of build their own program, correct?
Yes. Exactly.
Okay. If you want, I can try to build something like that. It's not that hard. And I'm relatively confident.
Cool. I like that because, and that's something maybe when you're looking for your team, especially, I want you, once you have your team, I like you all to be hyper-focused on a targeted goal, you know? And our first goal is to really get people to start these journaling circles in these college communities.
Well, I think our first goal will be website design, no?
Yeah, it goes hand in hand. It goes hand in hand because when the website is clear, then people from local college communities could sign up.
Wish I had a mango tree in my backyard with you standing next to me. Take that picture from a zip side and you say, can I have you? Hurry up and what you say. I said you do. Says you do. Says you do. Says you do. I said you do. No, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. to make you feel my love. The storms are raging on the rolling sea, and on the highway of progress, the winds of change are blowing wild and free. You ain't seen nothing like me yet. I can make it happen, make your dreams come true. Oh, there's nothing that I wouldn't do. Well, to the end of the earth.